seems like everybody and their mama chimed in on Lil Nas X's controversial BET Awards performance. It included a notable name in the hip-hop community. Former Source magazine co-owner Benzino took to IG to express his thoughts, his discomfort with Lil Nas X's kiss with a backup dancer. In a post, Benzino said the performance was, quote, too uncomfortable, too irresponsible, too forced, and too irrelevant to the awards. Benzino also said if he had financial backing, he would, quote, bring the Source Awards back. Here to set the record straight on what he thinks about this is the rap mogul himself. Benzino, welcome to Black News Tonight.
Appreciate you, Mark. How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. Talk to me about what you were thinking when you made that. Because I'll be honest with you, when I read that comment, I was a little surprised. And I said, wow, this feels homophobic. And because I have never heard that from you before, I was genuinely taken aback and wondered why. That's why I hit you up and said, look, bro, like, come on the show. Let me know what happened. Because
well, first,
stunning to me. Tell me
I want to make it clear. There's not a homophobic bone in my body. And it almost feels silly that I have to kind of defend myself, because when you think about it, it's just common that gay people are a part of our life and our society, and that's just what it is. And I respect that. I have many gay friends. I have gay family members. I've never had a problem with the LGBTQ community. As I've gotten older, I've become, more knowledgeable about everything about the movement, about the lifestyle. So there's no problems with me. I've executive produced about 4 or 5 Source Awards, first of all. And the last Source Award was actually put on by BET. And it was more or less coming from a production standpoint. I think award shows have to be responsible for all ages and, everybody watching. And you have to be conscious of that. And I think sometimes they try to push the envelope a little bit too much. Per se, I don't think it had too much to do with a gay thing as much as it was forced. I felt like a performance didn't need all that. Lil Nas X, I have a great deal of admiration for him. Very, very proud of what he's done, especially as a young African-American young brother. He's broken all kind of records. He's crossed over genres of music. I bought his album for Zeno, my 5-year-older, and posted him singing Old Town Road. So it has nothing to do personally with Nas. And I also want to stand corrected that he does have a song on the in the top 10 that I knew nothing about. So I want to apologize for the one statement I said that I didn't think that he had a current hit out, but he does. The Montero song, but I didn't know. So, I want to correct that, but I stand by what I say as far as it was forced and it was irresponsible. I just don't think there's a place.
Why was it irresponsible?
Well, I mean, to show something on an award show that's meant to be a family show. I just think
Okay.
that there's a time and place for everything.
All right, so let's. I mean, we had a night full of performances. So many performances alluded to sex, oral sex, selling dope, shooting guns, and no one said anything. And you didn't say anything when we saw women shaking their behinds, and I'm not saying they shouldn't when they're showing. When people are wearing outfits that show breasts. I'm saying if we're appealing to family values in the conservative kind of way, it seems to me that Lil Nas X wasn't far out of step from everybody else, except the fact that his kiss was with a man. I'm saying I think all that stuff is fair game on an award show that comes on at 8 o'clock at night. But if the issue is the family piece of it, why did that seem so inappropriate and not the guns and the drugs and the shooting and the sex and the woman popping out with the baby and twerking pregnant? I mean, if those things didn't bother you from a conservative perspective, why would this?
Well, Mark, you have a great point. And, the BET Awards was always, to me, an award show that kind of held us as a culture in the highest regards. And it always had a sort of amount of class to it. I think the last couple of years it's kind of waning, maybe towards a younger crowd, but you're absolutely right. and I don't want to be a hypocrite as far as, because I'm not trying to censor anybody. I just think that, when it comes to when you see the women, I think you're right. I think that as a society, we are kind of used to seeing that. You make a great point, but that doesn't still diminish my point about how I felt the Nas X performance was. And because I didn't mention everybody else, it still shouldn't taint my point of that particular performance. And again, it's not like I'm picking on Nas X,
Think about it like this. Because this is a teach and learning dialogue between both of us. We're gonna learn from each other and build.
Yes, and I appreciate it.
And I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it like this. Imagine a white person. I'm gonna give you two examples. Imagine a white person who said everything you said at the top of the show, right? I don't have a problem with black folk. I work around black folk. My world is filled with black folk. I have black friends. That wouldn't necessarily mean that they couldn't say or do something racist. Doesn't mean necessarily at the core they hate black people, but it could mean that there's something there that they haven't worked through or thought about. And I think you're right when you make a really interesting and important point. You said, well, look, just because I didn't say these 4 bad things were bad doesn't mean that the 5th thing isn't bad. But the problem is, again, imagine if your son in class, right? Imagine if Zeno was in class and he was with all white classmates and all the kids were chewing gum, all the kids were not doing their work, and the only one they pointed to was the black kid. You'd be like, wait a minute, all these white kids did something too. If only the black person gets pointed out, does that say something about the teacher's feelings about the black kid? Or if you only see the black person acting out, is there a problem?
Mark, listen, I see your point, bro. And I understand it, but you have to understand mine too. This is all new to me. I'm trying to raise a 5-year-old son. And, if he's seeing performances with the devil and kissing men, of course I have to be able to explain, but, the BET is a family show. And I just feel like it's not so much of Lil Nas X kissing the man as it is the whole kind of like optics of what went on. And yes, the stuff you mentioned probably does add to that, but in my world, and I want to say this correctly because I don't want to offend anybody. In my world, this is all new to me, and if my thing is, listen, I wasn't always understandable about the gay community. I had to learn, and it had to organically set in me that these are people just like me. I just feel like sometimes things could be forced, and they don't have to be. I think that Lil Nas X maybe he's trying to show that I'm gay and gay's here, but we already knew that. Everybody, you don't have to push the envelope so much. I think gay people are here, man. I don't want to cut you off, bro.
I'm with you, bro. I got to take a quick break. I want you to stay with me. I want to bring you back on the other side of the break so you can finish your thought. I don't want to interrupt you.
Definitely.
Everybody stay with me. We got Benzino on the other side of this break. Stay with me. Tonight with hip-hop legend Benzino. Benzino, I want to thank you for having this conversation with me. You're getting a lot of feedback on our page. Some people are mad at you. Some people agree with you. But the thing that seems to be consistent is people are appreciating your honesty and your candor, man. You're starting from a place of at least saying, look, this is new to me. I'm just beginning to see the humanity of queer folk. I'm just beginning to recognize this stuff. That's not a good place to be, but at least you're honest about where you are, and it's a process. And I think that's why I brought you on the show. I don't. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as gay people, I'm not new to that. I'm not new to having gay friends. I'm not new to working with gay people. I'm not new to hanging out with gay men. I'm not new to understand that maybe gay men might be attracted to me. These are all things that I had. Whether you're upset about it or not, I had to learn these things. I had to get used to these things. I was a kid that grew up in the streets of Boston and it wasn't around me. I'm 55 years old. It wasn't around back then. So, I'm trying to do the best I can to make sure everybody's happy, but also myself and my morals and what I believe in and how I'm raising my sons. I mean, I don't have anything against Nas X being gay or anybody being gay. I'm just telling you the truth that maybe a lot of people feel this way. I think the LGBT community, a lot of them are great people, but then you got some who just want to bully their lifestyle on people. And I don't think that's fair. And I think that in this instance, I've seen LGBTQ speak and actually agree with what I'm saying. So, you know, I'm not here.
I think one thing to remember,
and this is part of the more honesty and the more conversations like this, the better it's going to be for everybody as we move on. Because isn't that what the end goal is for straight and gay people to all get along? Well, if that's the end goal, this is healthy. And this is good. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I just spoke what was probably on a lot of people's minds who was scared to say anything. Nobody should be scared to say anything, Mark.
Nobody should. We want the honesty, man. But we also have to. There's also honesty. There's also accountability. There's correction. You know, for example, you know, being gay isn't a lifestyle, right? Any more than being straight is a lifestyle. It's an identity. It's about who you love. It's about desire. It's about, you know, all of those things. And you're right. There are a lot of people who probably
fall
aren't
under
comfortable
lifestyle.
seeing. No, would you say being straight is a lifestyle?
Yes. At this point, yes. Well, now yes.
Here's why it's not. Let me explain to you why it's not. You are a hip hop head down to the side. I know we got a commercial break, y'all. This is worth blowing it. I'll buy all y'all dinner. Talking to my crew. I can't afford to buy Benzino dinner. But like hip hop is a lifestyle,
come on,
right?
Man. I gotta take you out to lunch, bro.
For sure, hip hop is a lifestyle. Right? I could say that, you know, in my 20s, I had a lifestyle where I would go to the club and I would party. Those things that I could choose or not choose. The problem with why we don't call being gay a lifestyle is it makes it seem like it's a choice. And because there's a long history of telling gay people that their desires and their loves were a choice or something that was evil or something that needed to be fixed or something that you needed to pray about or go to camp about or whatever, that language is both inaccurate, but it can also be very, very dangerous. So instead, what we talk about is being gay as an identity. In the same way that being straight is an identity. I couldn't make you gay if if you know, and I couldn't make a gay person straight. So this is the language. This is the language that we use. And you're absolutely right. There's a lot of Americans out there, bro, that do not want to see gay people on TV, but they also didn't want to see women driving buses. They didn't want to see black people. I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying that the fact that a whole lot of people don't want to see it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing. The minority has always been the people on the right side of history. We had to fight to get justice. So that's all I'm saying. I gotta wrap in a second, bro. But I just want to say,
let me say this last thing, Mark. Let me tell you this quick little thing.
I give you the last 30. Yep.
Let me tell you this quick story. My son Taj and myself was walking in Lenox Mall, and as Benzino, everybody loves me, gay, straight. 3 men walked up and wanted to take a picture. Now, Taj knew that they was gay, and he didn't want to take the picture. And I said, take the picture. He took the picture. As we're walking in Lenox, I explained to him. I said, Taj, because they may seem different, they're still beautiful people. We walked inside Lenox Mall in Macy's. 2 more gay men want to take a picture. He said, Dad, I'll take it. Like, I get it. I get it.
That's beautiful.
I get it.
No, that is beautiful, and that's the progress we want to do. So that journey from that conversation at the mall to what we saw on Instagram it's a work in progress. But I'm glad you're willing to do the work.
Exactly.
I'm glad you're willing to acknowledge that this may have done some harm, and I'm glad you're willing to. And you said this on your Instagram. You apologize to people who were harmed, man. So Benzino, I got to roll because it's the end of the show. But thank you so much for doing this.
I'm apologizing now, and I learned something tonight. It's not a lifestyle; it's an identity.
That's what we talking about, man. The next thing I'm gonna do is make you a Sixers fan. Then my work will be complete. All right.
Celtics, Mark. I'm from Boston. I'm from B-Town, baby. For real.
I had to try it, man. Y'all.